Assalamu alaikum everybody, I'm Huma Maqsood from Franklin Covey, Pakistan.
And I'm Maryam Azizada from Franklin Covey, Pakistan.
We are here to announce that we have a collaboration with Radio Lums to have a series of podcasts this Women's Day, commencing this Women's Day.
And our theme is about embracing equity. And we will be inviting a number of amazing women who are going to come and talk to us, share their stories with us. And we're going to be, our initiative is all about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this initiative of ours, I hope, will start a series of conversations and we will hear amazing stories.
So stay tuned to listen to some very amazing, inspiring conversations. Looking forward.
Assalamu alaikum and hello to everyone watching and listening. My name is Yusra Rasool. I am your host for today and we welcome you to a brand new series in collaboration with Franklin Covey Pakistan and Radio Lums. This is the second episode of our series where we discuss equity, which is our theme for Women's Day this year. We're going to have various guests over time that have managed to prove themselves with the success they carry, not only for the sake of their own name, but for the country that they represent. I'm extremely glad and honored to be sitting here today because we have someone very special in the studio with us. Ayesha Khan, hello, how are you?
Hello, lovely to be here.
Thank you for joining us today. Ayesha Khan is a producer, director, and writer. She has split her time between Pakistan and the States. So she grew up here and went on to study in the States. And she is widely known for her film Kashf, The Lifting of the Veil, and her documentary Made in Pakistan, which defies the prevailing stereotypes of the country. So before we dive, into the more serious part of the discussion, I would like to know how you started your journey into, the film industry and why. What made you want to join that?
Well, I grew up in Lahore and went to LGS, and quite frankly, I think my principal would say she was always an actress. I was known for putting on dramas, impromptu dramas in LGS all the time, throughout. Then after that, I ended up leaving the country actually on a scholarship to the United World Colleges, which was very exciting because there were about 88 different countries represented where we all did the IB. From there, when I went to Mount Holyoke, which is the US college that I attended, one of my degrees was theatre. Okay. So film hadn't arrived yet into my psyche until the last year when we got a very famous documentarian come and teach like a one-off course on documentary filmmaking. And I ended up taking that, and suddenly, even though I was a theatre major, suddenly my focus started going towards film. So that's kind of where it started.
Okay, and then you've obviously done everything. So after that, Mount Holyoke finished?
I ended up in New York City.
Okay.
And ended up auditioning for Broadway, off-Broadway, ended up doing plays, acting and directing, both off of Broadway, which was a very exciting time. To be in New York, to be that young, to, be right where the pulse of everything is. Right around the time that I was acting and directing in New York, there was a small little film school that opened up. Because I knew by that time I had so much education, I wasn't ready to put in another 3 years of film school. This film school opened up called New York Film Academy, which was offering short courses about 6 to 8 weeks. And I was one of the first couple of batches that went through that system. And there were about 24 in my class, I remember. It was very, very cold January. And after the meet and greet the first day, they handed us the cameras the next day and said, go make a movie. And we were like, what? And we were supposed to make a short film of about like a minute to 2 minutes with actual film, which was very expensive at that time. And when we came back, having made our first films, and we all thought that we had turned into Spielberg, we realized that nobody knew how to light anything, and everybody's films were black. It was just black on screen. But it was an incredibly well-run place because it was like a boot camp. Mm-hmm. Okay, they immersed you. Mm-hmm. By NYU and I shouldn't actually name them, but a lot of the film schools, you don't get to actually handle the cameras till your second year. Mm-hmm. Here, they were handing it to us on the second or third day. Right. Yeah. And we all ended up making short films there. And some of us then went out and joined the industry.
And then your first was made in Pakistan, right? Your first ever.
No, it was actually Kashf.
Kashf. And then
But before that, I did a whole series of short films in New York where
Okay.
I was collaborating with a lot of my classmates, a lot of colleagues. So I was already making films and very much part of the art scene in New York,
Okay.
which was called the indie film scene.
Right.
Kashf I had written a short story in college and I was looking around for a subject to do in Pakistan. Like I wanted to come back and do something with the Pakistani film industry, which at that time was just Lollywood, and that was it. So found that short story. I was like, my God, there's a movie in here. I can write this movie. And believe it or not, even I'm shocked, I wrote the script in a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it changed one draft and sent it out to a whole bunch of people, and they were like, yeah, you can shoot this. We won't watch it. So I came back to Pakistan to start, doing the pre-production and everything for Kashf because it was going to be shot in Lahore.
Oh, wow. That's very cool. So, like, obviously, when you join something, there are obviously experiences and then there are setbacks and failures and all of that stuff. But there are a lot of disadvantages, especially when you're a woman and especially when you're a brown woman entering something in, I would say, like, in the States. Pakistan mein to it is difficult to kind of make a mark as it is, but in the States where, you are kind of like a minority, I would say.
Which is why the reason I wanted to do my first film here. Because this was still my country, this is still my city,
Yeah.
I still know people. I knew that I could wing it here, for lack of a better word, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to do my first film in the US, despite the fact that I'd been there by this time at least 10 or 12 years, maybe more.
Yeah.
So yes, part of it was the comfort zone of coming back to Pakistan and making the first film here.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure, like, even in Pakistan, you had to deal with a lot of,
Oh no, darling, I went to recruit Shah Rukh Khan for my first film.
No, I meant just.
No, I'm not kidding.
I meant
Unfortunately, not having confidence has not been my problem.
I mean, that's a really good thing. But, like, setbacks to hote hain, considering that.
I realized how big Shah Rukh is and I won't have the budget for his security.
But there are certain, setbacks or disadvantages. Like, we see that in every industry, right? There are some problems that people do.
They're
tend to
massive
face.
problems,
Yeah.
but they came later. They didn't come in the beginning of the film. The beginning of the film, interestingly enough, because it was a very weird coincidence. So that you understand, I'm going to lay the groundwork of how I ended up
Okay.
actually being able to make this movie, okay? I was sitting in New York. I had been out of the country for a good 15 plus years at that time, right? College, high school, everything. So Bollywood for me, I still only remembered Amitabh Bachchan and all those big stars back then. I had no idea who the big names, because udhar abhi Bollywood nahi lag raha tha
Yeah.
at all, US ke andar, theek hai? Specialty cinemas hote the, maybe once in a blue moon koi lag jati thi, but we didn't have time to go watch them. So I literally had no clue what was happening in Bollywood. And I knew that we didn't really have much of an industry left in Pakistan because of Mr. Ziaul Haq. So I went and watched a whole bunch of Bollywood films. And there was this one guy, I was like, oh, he's perfect for the film.
Okay.
And I called up my British producer in London and said, oh, the guy's name is Shah Rukh Khan. I think you should call him. I'm sure he'll come to Pakistan to do this. He hung up on me.
Oh, God.
And he said, if you don't know who Shah Rukh Khan is, you do not deserve to make a movie. I was like, oh, is he famous? True story.
Oh, God.
The British producer knew Mahesh Bhatt and actually called him up the next day and told him, this is such a funny story. There's this woman I know. I'm producing her film, helping her produce this film in Pakistan, and she wants to recruit Shah Rukh. Mahesh Bhatt goes and tells Shah Rukh Khan. He thought it was the funniest thing he said. He said, invite her to Bombay.
Okay.
Yes. So by the time I come to Pakistan to start pre-production, I'm on my way to recruit Shah Rukh Khan. All of Pakistan went behosh. And I'm the only idiot sitting there. I'm like, why are you people all so excited?
Wait, so the news was out, basically, that he
Yes,
is-
everybody knew. So everybody was standing attention. Ke if she pulls it off, whatever she needs.
Oh, God.
So then I did go to meet him. And I'll say he's the loveliest human being you've ever met. Okay? Never made me feel like,
Yeah.
what is she doing?
Why is she here?
It's just that when I got to Bombay and I saw the massive billboards everywhere, I realized
Yeah.
we may not have the security budget. So that was the end of that.
But, and then I was watching an interview of yours where, you know, it was a very old interview, 14 years ago.
Yeah. It's a long time ago.
Yeah, and you were basically discussing the Pakistani cinema in that, and you talked about how the cinema needs to change its infrastructure. Basically, the industry needs to change its infrastructure. So 14 years later, now that you're sitting here and you look back at that time, how far do you think have we come as an industry, because you're literally part of it, and you've seen it grow or set back or whatever, and how far do we have to go?
The most exciting thing for me this time, I don't come every year to Pakistan because I'm very busy there with my company and stuff, and so I come like with gaps, 3-4 years ke baad, theek hai? The most exciting thing for me this time has been that we managed to really knock it out of the ballpark with a couple of films this year.
True.
Okay, and the ones that come to mind are Mola Jat, Joyland, Shan's Zarar.
Yep.
I mean, these are completely different genres, the films, but for what they are, they hit it out of the ballpark.
True.
All three of them.
Yep.
And for us to be able to do that in 1 year, and that too after COVID and what have you, it has been a joy to see that.
That's
I'll also give myself a pat on the back. A lot of people called me up and said, Mubarak ho, job karne aayi thi, kuch ho gaya. Finally, after 14 years. I'm like, 14 years. God, you put it in that light. But what a fantastic movie Mola Jat is. Theek hai? I told Bilal that. Bilal actually worked on Kashf.
Oh.
He had just come out of film school, I think. And I remember my crew had left because my crew was all from New York. And I needed some pickup shots. And I remember him coming and I'm like, camera istemál karna aata hai? Okay, here it is. He's like, what?
And now he's making Mola Jat.
Yes, I told him, I'm so thrilled. It's such a fantastic movie. And if any of you have not seen it, I urge you to go see it. Okay, especially in the theater. Because it is a cinematic experience. Joyland. Don't know the director. Okay, he's come out of, I think, Columbia Film School. I made a special trip to Islamabad so I could go see it because idhar nahi lagi Punjab ke andar.
Yeah.
What a movie. And it's a tiny little film.
Yeah.
It's a tiny little film, but it is an incredible film. Okay. Zarar is this big fat commercial, spy thriller going on, fabulous cinematography, great action sequences.
Yeah.
And look where we have come in 14 years. So actually, you know what? We've done pretty well in 14 years.
We've done pretty well.
Yeah.
I know, but like the thing is, right, so we make a few movies like that and then we do pretty well. I'm not saying there are a few movies that do really good. But then there's also, the need for us to make those entertainment movies where we're still competing with Bollywood.
Why are we competing with Bollywood?
Exactly my question. Why are we still doing that? But because at the end of the day, it's hurting movies like Joyland. It's hurting cinematic movies. The Sabah Kamar one, I'm forgetting the name of the movie. Kamli. It's hurting movies like that because
there's no hurt going on.
No one's ready to watch those type of...
No.
The masses are not.
No. See, this is where the industry and actually Pakistan as a whole needs to understand. The problem, nobody's hurting any of these films.
Okay.
You have to make a good movie. This is called show business.
True.
For a reason.
True.
It's not just show. It's a business. The reason I have not made another film here, for the cinema, we do not still have enough cinemas for it to support the kind of budget I would require to make a movie here. It is that simple. Nobody's trying to hurt anybody. हमारे पास distribution नहीं है. Okay? Because I'll just give you a prime example. Abhi Mola Jat nikli. Mola Jat is still running. I think it's still running in the cinemas. ठीक? Because log aa rahe hain usko dekhne.
Yeah.
There were a whole slew of other films that came out around the same time. Unki sirf 2 hafte, 3 hafte run hui and they were out.
Yep.
Those films could have run for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks. True. We don't have enough cinemas because at the same time Wakanda is coming in. Avatar was coming in. The Hollywood, okay. Any other normal country, sorry to use the word normal, I'm not being political, I'm just saying normal distribution of cinema. US ke andar is tarah ki there's all kinds of cinema being put on. okay, which you will call and popcorn entertainment we call it. Chick flicks होती हैं,
Yep.
action movies होती हैं, फिर उनकी big budget वाली होती हैं, फिर उनकी Oscar run होती है, because there's thousands of cinemas,
Yep.
right? So you don't have to go and watch all of them. You'll go watch the ones you want to watch.
Right.
Either हमारी problem always will be distribution until we have more cinemas.
But then, where is there's always this discussion as well that the audience is not ready to watch movies, artistic movies. They're not willing to pay for that type of, they're
नहीं गए नहीं है, देखने गए नहीं है मौला जाट and all.
right. But I think other factors, if we leave aside Maula Jat was
Maula
like
Jat
once
is a cult thing. Yes,
exactly.
agreed.
If we leave aside Maula Jat and we look at other movies, everyone would rather willingly go watch like Punjab Nahi Jaungi or like all that type of stuff.
So there's nothing wrong with Punjab nahi jaungi.
I mean, it's not that. It's just that, see, there's nothing wrong. I would agree. But then
Yeah.
there's also the fact that when new filmmakers come into the country and, when, they come out with movies and then they're kind of demotivated with how things are turning out. So that is kind of affecting the industry, isn't it?
भाई देखो अब तो digital आ गया है,
True.
ठीक है. I'll give you an example. जब मेरा Kashf came out, लाहौर में एक सिनेमा था DHA का, where it could be shown. That was it. That was it.
Yeah.
ठीक है. Ab at least there's
Yeah.
all these Cineplex and Q
Q
Cinema
cinemas,
and
yep.
what have you, ठीक है. The sad part is कि हमारे पुराने cinemas जो है ना वो बंद हो गए. That is a problem, okay?
Yeah.
Because your ordinary public, not your fancy crowd, उनके cinemas बंद हो रहे हैं.
Yep.
At one point before pre-Ziaul Haq time, because he systematically came and closed the cinemas. You have to understand the history of this country.
Yep.
There were thousands of cinemas across Pakistan.
Yep.
Because remember, after partition, it was still, there was a real industry. And quite frankly, the better films of Bollywood of that time, pre-partition, were being made on our side.
True.
So हमारे साथ तो number, as an artist now I'm talking, हमारे साथ तो ज़ियाउल हक ने number किया ना. I mean, सारे cinemas बंद कर दिए. So then what could come? Just those Lollywood, same old Punjabi films, and because nobody, then he created, I mean, we can go on and on. So you can tell me to stop.
No, it's
Then
okay.
he created
I enjoy
this
it.
entire
Yeah.
environment that if somebody was going into the cinema,
Yeah.
then you were being called names, which I cannot
Yeah.
repeat on the radio, even though
Yeah.
you're lumps, right? So it set us back by decades.
True.
By decades. When I came to do Kashf, there was only one lighting package available in all of Lahore that I had to put a competing bid for, क्योंकि वो सारे commercials बनते थे उस lighting package से.
Okay.
उस लाइटिंग पैकेज के साथ उन्होंने मुझे 25 आदमी भेज दिए टू प्रोटेक्ट द लाइट्स दैट आई हैड टू फीड. I had to negotiate that I cannot feed 25
Oh
more
my
people.
God.
I only want 7.
Oh God.
So understand, look at,
Yeah.
what you're saying, jo hardships,
Yeah.
ye negotiating this. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay, that the package has to be booked at such and such time and it's 29 days and done. You haven't shot that film in 29 days, there's no lighting.
Oh
फिर
God.
बाहर shift कर दो सारे scene. Okay, so a lot has changed.
That's true.
So I'm not going to look down upon any
Industry.
film
Yep.
that is being made with the right intent होती है ना filmmaker की. जो कुछ भी है उन्होंने, जो भी movie उन्होंने बनानी है, कहानी बताएं, अपनी दिखाएं. But they need to be cognizant, as on the business side of things, our problem is going to be distribution. Which
Right.
everybody, I know the big issue is कि Bollywood की movies नहीं लगा रहे and ये फिर वो cinemas वाले कहते हैं हमारे पैसे नहीं बन रहे. I'm double-minded on it. I actually don't believe in black and white. On one level, I can see it from the cinema owner's perspective that they need to make money in order to keep the lights on, right, and the popcorn going. On another level, we cannot just have an open door policy. And that for me is a political stance, because until and unless India shows Pakistani films in their cinemas,
Exactly.
I absolutely will not be
Allow.
for them being
Yep.
shown here.
वन साइडेड नहीं हो सकता
वन साइडेड नहीं हो सकता.
एग्जैक्टली
वो हमारी खोल दें,
हाँ
हमें एब्सोल्युटली दिखाना चाहिए बॉलीवुड.
एग्जैक्टली
ठीक है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. बट हमारी वो नहीं लगाएंगे, तो फिर हम
Exactly.
क्यों लगाएं उनकी?
हाँ that's true.
It's just simple.
Yeah. So since we're talking about filmmakers, how do you believe female filmmakers can use their platform and success to promote equity and equality in this industry? Because there's still a small number of female filmmakers, if I'm not wrong. So, I mean...
Actually not.
Okay.
Pakistan's very weird. Okay? Sangeeta
Okay.
from Lollywood went from being an actress, very well-known actress in Lollywood, to a director.
Okay.
When I came to do mine, Mehreen Jabbar was the other filmmaker.
Right. Yep.
Okay. We're not talking about that there were 1,000 men and there was just me and Mehreen. No.
Yeah.
There was me, Mehreen, Umar Ali Khan.
Yeah.
That was it. Umar was like, I'm one. Or koi nahi. I'm talking about the new wave.
Yeah, yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
the Lollywood. Obviously, Lollywood was still going on. And since then, Sharmeen.
Right.
I mean, a lot of documentary filmmakers, female. So Pakistan is that weird case study ke there's enough film directors who are women and doing very well
Yep.
in their own right. As an industry, both Pakistani and Hollywood, actually the biggest shocker to me was Hollywood. Hollywood is the most sexist industry in the world. The world. Like, who knew?
Who knew?
Like, I have a whole other business in New York, which is also very hardcore. I'm usually the only woman in the room because that's related to real estate and it's commercial real estate, so it's not residential. But when I got to Hollywood, I was in shock.
Okay.
Okay? They are not interested in you because you're a woman. Woman director, they're not interested in you at all. Minority woman director, they are more not interested in you.
Yeah.
Muslim woman director, why
Forget.
who let
Why are you
in?
standing in the line?
How are you here? Who let you in into the conference room? What do you mean? What
Yeah.
kind of movie? What are you talking about? Forget it.
Yeah.
It is systemic.
Yeah.
It is deliberate. They will not let women directors in. I optioned 3 screenplays to Hollywood in a bidding war. Okay, they're massive films, massive. Literally, they were sold within 10 days of the guy saying, the producer saying he wants to buy the screenplays. It took us another 6 months to hammer out the deal because वो भी अड़ गए और मैं भी अड़ गई. उन्होंने कहा it has to be part of the deal that she will understand that she is not going to direct any one of these films.
Oh wow.
It was in my contract.
Oh wow.
If I was a white man who
Obviously.
had directed one 30-second commercial somewhere,
you would have.
I would be directing my own screenplay. In fact, I would be lauded and said, oh my God, what a genius. Fabulous. Oh my God. You've never directed more than 30 seconds. Don't worry. You can wing it. We'll give you the best stuff. You'll do it. Me, with films under my belt, having directed, known entity, they wanted the screenplays, but they said she will not be allowed to direct them. 6 months, मैं अड़ी रही. Until my entertainment lawyer said, खुदा वास्ते sign कर दे.
And you did, of course.
I did.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
So see exactly what
So
I was talking
exactly
about.
your
Yeah.
question. That,
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do equity-wise? You make sure that the women coming behind you, film directors, they understand the business side of things.
Right.
Okay? क्योंकि हमारे पास कोई role models नहीं थे इस तरह when we started. हमें नहीं बताया किसी ने that actually I should have begged and borrowed money for Shah Rukh's security and then I would be
Number one filmmaker.
number uno film director with Shah Rukh Khan in my film. Okay. Nobody really explained that part. We are like, yeah, security will be an issue.
Shahrukh Khan ही तो है.
Usually Shah Rukh ही है. But you understand from a business standpoint,
Yeah.
Kashf would be on a completely different scale.
Yeah. Exactly.
If I had actually said, yes, kar lete hain deal and, come.
Yeah.
Because at that point, हमारी बड़ी दोस्ती भी हुई थी India Pakistan की. It would have happened.
It would have happened.
So those kind of business things are stuff that the older generation like myself can explain to the younger generation but then the landscape has changed with the digital.
True.
It's completely changed.
Right.
But I feel like the parameters of what filmmaking is, the structure has not, वो फिर भी वही है. You have to make it, you have to have the right cast, and you have to make sure that you have distribution and marketing.
Right.
वो लोग भूल जाते हैं जब वो बनाते हैं कि उसकी marketing की कितनी budget चाहिए.
Understanding the finance
Yeah,
part of
the finance part of it. Exactly.
Okay. So like that's I think वैसे भी in Pakistan that's like one aspect or like one side where we need a lot of education in general. Like
Yes.
finance of any business, regardless of what it is, we're still struggling with that, which is why I think a lot of businesses don't do well in Pakistan in general, even if we're not looking
And
at the
yet
industry
we're very
side.
entrepreneurial.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
हर चीज खोली हुई है हमने.
हर चीज़
Not
खोली
just
हुई
here,
है.
everywhere.
But then he gets whatever.
Yeah.
But financial education is
Yes.
important regardless. So lastly, what advice would you like to give to all the young women out there who want to pursue cinema or arts in general? Because when you started, you were pretty young as well. So what do you have to say to them?
Read a lot of books.
For the ones that want to join cinema and arts?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You have to
Okay.
be a reader for this business. That people don't understand this.
Oh,
You have to live
interesting.
life, but you also have to read. Okay, that has been my biggest gift, is that when I grew up in Pakistan, there was only one channel called PTV. और वो 10 बजे बंद हो जाता था. कहती थी खुदा हाफिज, और खुदा हाफिज हो जाती. ठीक है. So all of us, our fallback was books,
Yeah.
which has allowed me to be able to, okay, they didn't let me direct a film in Hollywood yet, but they certainly called me about my screenplays. Okay, so, and that comes from reading. Right now, with what has opened up in the space here, cinema-wise, arts-wise, digital, YouTube, get up and make it.
Yep.
There's no holding back now.
Exactly.
तब तो फिर भी हमें कैमरा कौन सा है,
हाँ.
कैमरा किधर से आएगा,
Rent
लाइटिंग
करो,
किधर से
yeah.
आएगी, whatever. अब you can just shoot it on your phone.
So true. Yep.
Steven Soderbergh, one of the best known Hollywood directors, is shooting everything on the iPhone now.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yep.
And I don't even care whether it's the iPhone. The point is you need to be able to tell a story. Make sure your story is good. Because at the end of the day, why do we go and watch films in a darkened theater? Because we want to hear a story, a good story.
Exactly.
So that is my advice. Concentrate on your stories.
That's all the time we have for today. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I had an amazing time hosting
Me
this
too.
and learning from you. And to everyone that's interested, now you have the advice.
Because of Manahil, who's organized this whole thing, and she does want me to announce it, I'm going to be here for a couple of months, and we are going to be offering screenwriting workshops.
Okay.
Because
More
I've been
details,
arm twisted into it. I'm only going to be opening it up for about 10 students.
Okay.
I think that's a better class thing, so that I get people who are very, very serious.
Okay.
And it'll be the announcement will be on our on my Insta,
Okay.
which is Indus Valley,
Indus Valley.
which is my company's name.
Okay, great.
So they can go and look for me there.
We will add everything to the description box, and you guys can access it. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.